Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. We are finally going to be giving a fall decor haul for 2025. I'm going to be sharing with you guys a bunch of things that I picked up for this fall season and how I am styling them. I'll also be sharing with you guys some snippets of how I am styling my living room for the fall season. Something about fall is just so cozy and inviting, and I want to give you guys a bunch of ideas of how you can take old decor, new decor, and put it together to create a very inviting space for this new season. Like I said, I'll be sharing some things that are all new to me. Some of them are antiques, or some of them are from more mainstream stores like Home Goods, Hobby Lobby. If you did miss my fall shop with me, that was my last video. We did go to a few stores and I shared with you guys some of the things that I saw, some of my favorite things that I think that you should look out for. So I will be showing you these items and then how I incorporate them into my space with other items to make it very cozy, inviting, but also give a very high-end designer feel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so throughout today's video, something that you may notice is that the color on the walls in the living room is a little bit different. So the previous color, I was kind of going for more of like a gray, a very neutral gray, but it ended up pulling a little bit more cool toned, therefore being a little bit blue. So if you know my style, I like very warm toned things. I like rich wood tones, and we actually did end up painting it about a month or so ago in the color Skyline Steel by Sherwin-Williams. So if that's something that you notice, the color is a little bit different and I absolutely love it. It's like the perfect sort of warm grayish color that I think really goes with all of our decor and just my whole style in general. So when I'm styling my living room, I usually start with a focal wall. This wall is usually the main thing that you see right when you walk into this space. We have a large cabinet, and then you may notice a couple new elements. So first off, you may notice the new lamp. Now I actually got this lamp off of Facebook Marketplace, I believe for about $20. It is a very large scale lamp. It's a lot bigger than it looks on camera or even in a picture. Now I didn't end up getting a great picture of it beforehand, but it used to be sort of a beige color. It kind of had some crackles in it, but it was just sort of supposed to be like a texture thing, and I wasn't a super big fan of that, so I always intended on redoing it. So I ended up using some primer that you would use to paint furniture or even walls, and I used that as my base. I did a couple different coats of that, and then I just used some craft paint mixed with some baking soda, and I mixed a few different colors together. I did black as my base, added in some brown and khaki tones as well as some beige, and it gave it this beautiful texture. All we had to do was put a lampshade on it. We ended up going to Walmart and getting the biggest one we could find. It was around $20 to $25, and then it already had a little finial that could go on top that actually perfectly matched the base. So altogether, I love the statement that this lamp makes. I feel like it's a really good scale. So I only put about $40 into that lamp, and I feel like it looks like a $100 lamp because it's so large, has lots of texture, and it just looks like something you'd find on a designer site. So that is the first thing. The second thing you may notice that is new on that wall is the artwork in the frame. We did used to have a big gallery wall, and I wanted to simplify it and just find a really big frame. So I found this one off of Marketplace, and then I just made my own painting to put inside. I used a big piece of cardboard to be able to fill up that space. Now this piece is actually going to be available on my Etsy shop. This painting is called Autumn Meadow, and it's so beautiful. I love all of the different tones. It really has all of the vibrant colors for fall, but they're toned down to be a little bit more muted, a little bit more moody and understated, but it really incorporates all of those beautiful things that come with fall. There's a stream that sort of goes down the middle, there's lots of trees, and the sky is really cloudy and moody. And because I did do this painting on cardboard, it has this beautiful natural texture that also does translate into the digital print itself. So if you are interested in downloading this print from my Etsy shop, it is now live. I will leave that linked down below if you want to check it out. But getting digital art off of Etsy is one of my best hacks for decorating for the fall season. It's a lot more inexpensive than getting new frames and just new prints that you would buy from somewhere like Target, and they're super easy to switch out and very affordable. So make sure that you check that out if you're interested. But with these two elements, I feel like we have a really good base to build off some smaller decor pieces, and I just think it really sets the tone for the color palette and just everything else that I want to add. So because we have that very large lamp on the right, it's very tall, it kind of brings that height to the space. I really want to take the left side of the cabinet and try to balance it out in terms of weight and also height. So this brings the first thing that I'm actually going to physically show you here, and this is something that you may have noticed in my shopping video. This was something that I found at Hobby Lobby, and it is this beautiful candelabra. Again, I was trying to think of a way to bring some height to that space, but also I didn't want it to be black. I wanted it to be a different material, that way it doesn't blend together. This candelabra was on sale at Hobby Lobby for $12.99. I actually found it in sort of the candle section. Now the reason I was drawn to this candelabra is, one, I don't really have a candelabra. I have lots of candlesticks and candle holders and things, but I don't have anything quite like this where it holds more than one candlestick at a time. Another thing is I love the texture. I love the tone. It has a very natural looking patina on it. I like how there's little dents and divots all throughout. It's also very heavy. It seems very well made. It's also a perfect mix between modern as well as a little bit more of like a cottage farmhouse look. So basically this is the first piece of decor that we're going to use to start balancing out our cabinet. I'm just going to put it off to the left side, and that's where we're going to add in some candlesticks. Now I will say I did start with some different candlesticks from Hobby Lobby, and then I ended up going to Home Goods. That's just kind of chronologically how I did it, and I found some that I liked a lot better. This is like the perfect sort of burnt orange color, and I'm obsessed with it. So these are the candlesticks. First of all, they do have a beautiful scent to them. I don't know exactly what it is, and I couldn't really find anything on the package as to what it was, but they smell like fall. A little bit of a cinnamon scent to it, kind of pumpkin spice. It's not super fragrant. It's not going to fill up a whole space if it's not lit. However, when you get close, it just smells beautiful. It smells like that fall season. What I love about these is their color as well as their shape. So their color is just this beautiful burnt orange, brown, mixed with a little bit of burgundy. It comes off on camera just a little bit more orange, but it does lean a little bit more brown with just a hint of burgundy, which I personally really love. I also love the shape of this. If you look on the top, it has sort of a hexagon shape to it, and I just think that's really fun. A very sort of sculptural but also somewhat modern play on a candlestick. And also going into decorating this space and figuring out the candlesticks that I wanted to use, I feel like just a white taper candle would be beautiful. Before the fall season, I really wanted to pull some of those auburn autumnal colors from the painting down onto the actual cabinet itself, and we'll do that in a couple other ways as well. So we're going to style these in our candelabra. You will notice I do have some scotch tape just wrapped around the bottom. This helps you to be able to adjust your candlesticks in any sort of candle holder, that way they stay in place. I love the juxtaposition of the color of the candlesticks with the aged brass sort of candelabra look. They're both very warm and they work very well together, and they also pull color from the painting as well. Now to build off what we already have on that left side, I wanted to add another element to bring in more of a natural texture, but something different from the aged brass as well as the color, which we are going to add in a little bit more, but this is just like our neutral base. Now this is something that I actually picked up in Tennessee when we went there this past summer. This isn't something that is super Tennessee or Southern specific. I feel like you could find this sort of thing pretty much anywhere, but I just love the unique shape of it, and I love baskets. They're so beautiful. This one is fun because it is kind of shaped like a pot, but it has these cute little handles at the top. Again, this is actually an antique, so it has a beautiful patina on there as well. Just lots of different tones. It looks a little bit weathered and aged. The tone of the wicker is also perfect. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, and I just felt like it would play really well with the rest of my decor. So in our space, I'm going to use this very simply as just a place to display some fall florals. Now another trick that I did with this is I did use some pumpkins to fill out the bottom. That way the florals that I put in had something to sit on. You could do this sort of thing with newspaper, a small blanket, a towel. It's just a really good way to fill up that space, and it also makes arranging those flowers a little bit easier. But I ended up styling my Hobby Lobby mums in here. I love the beautiful marigold color. Again, we're trying to bring those autumnal colors into our space, pull them from the painting and bring them down onto the cabinet. I just love how these sit in here. here. I feel like this is the type of thing that would also look beautiful on a front porch. It could also stand alone as a centerpiece or as part of an end table, coffee table. It really is just such a beautiful centerpiece, such a wonderful focal point, and they look so real and natural. And I will also link those mums down below in my description. I got those from Hobby Lobby either last year or the year before, and they have those as well as a few other colors that you can check out. And I just feel like overall this look is very organic, feels very gathered, very natural, very cottage-like, and those are the descriptors that I like to use when I'm decorating my home to make it feel cozy and inviting. So just another fun element to bring a little bit more weight to the left side of that cabinet. Now when I'm decorating, I tend to like to style in groups of 3 if I can. Most of the time it makes sense, if not in odd numbers. So I want to add one more element to the candelabra as well as our sort of mum flower moment. So I wanted to add something a little bit more low profile, something that is not going to obstruct the view of our other 2 elements, but is just going to add that beautiful autumnal feel and just sort of go with everything. So when I was at Hobby Lobby, I did point out this pumpkin and I fell in love with it. I love the texture of it. The only thing is I wasn't too keen on the tone. It was a little bit more of like an amber look to it, kind of a copper tone. And while I think that could be beautiful in certain spaces, I did feel like I could match it a little bit better to my own decor style. So I did use some rub and buff to actually give this a little bit of a different color. I believe I have the color Antique Gold, and this is how it turned out. Again, I love the texture that already came with this. I love all of the ridges. I love how the rub and buff just added that extra patina to it. It's not shiny anymore like the copper was. It's just a beautiful golden pumpkin that I think is going to look so beautiful with my decor. So this type of piece is very simple to add into your home decor. You could put it in a little bathroom if you have a little room on a countertop. You can use it to finish off any trio in the middle of a table or a coffee table, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing with this. So first I'm going to build a little bit of a base with a couple books. I'm trying to bring in those jewel tones as well as some of those autumn tones that we already have, and that just makes a beautiful base for our pumpkin to sit on. And then we're simply just going to put the pumpkin on top. And I love how it's very similar to the candelabra, brings in a little bit more brass, but there's really good contrast up against the basket, and the books are a little bit darker, so it really pops off of that. And I felt like that was exactly what this space was missing. It just needed a little pumpkin and just to drive home the fact that we are decorating for fall, and it really just finishes off the look. But overall, I love how this all turned out. We created 3 different focal points that really make the space feel very interesting and curated, and all of the pieces are not the same, but they complement each other. There's a lot of good contrast and scale, lots of organic textures. So if you need a little pumpkin, definitely check out Hobby Lobby. This one was only a few dollars after the discount. And if your style is very similar to mine, give it a little bit of a refinishing with some rub and buff, and it will completely transform your space and just finish off any sort of vignette that you're putting together. Now up next is probably my favorite decor find. You didn't see it in my shopping video from a couple weeks back because I did find this at an antique store. I believe it was up in northern Michigan somewhere, and I've never seen anything like this. I think it's so fun and different. It's this beautiful textured bowl. I love the differing materials. I love the chocolate brown tone of the actual bowl, and as you can see, there are actually some holes that are punctured into the top of the bowl, and this sort of like twine string jute-like material is threaded through it, and I just think that's so unique and fun. Now I'm not sure exactly what this bowl is made out of. It kind of feels like a really heavy plastic, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's also ceramic, but it doesn't quite feel like it could be ceramic, so I'm not really sure exactly what it's made of, but I love it. It's just very sculptural. Again, a very deep tone, perfect for the fall season when I like to bring in those rich moody colors. I also don't have anything like this where I can fill it with seasonal bowl filler or just fun things like that that are going to be specific to every season. This type of thing can also be styled anywhere. If you have a coffee table, a cabinet, or a sideboard of some sort, You can fill this with pretty much anything. I think this would also be a beautiful fruit bowl or kind of like a veggie bowl if you just keep all of those like seasonal fruits and veggies inside of it. It could look beautiful literally anywhere in your house. So pretty much how I'm going to style this is on one of our side tables. It takes up a lot of space and I really want it to be the focal point over there. And that brings me to what I'm going to be filling this with. Now, as you guys know, I love natural textures, and I'm not sure if I shared this with you. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think I shared this with you when I was at HomeGoods. When I was filming at HomeGoods from that video a couple weeks ago, there were so many people around, I really wasn't able to get a lot of footage. But I found this beautiful big bag of bowl filler, and it's just full of all kinds of fun things. So I'll just try to show you some of the elements. So there were like mini gourds inside, and I believe these are actual dried gourds, so they have that very natural organic texture to them. A couple dried orange slices. For some of these smaller pumpkins, I love the deep color of these. Lots of pine cones. There was one little Indian corn. It came with fall leaves as well. These ones look to be a little bit broken, but I just think they're so beautiful and I love the natural texture. Some of these things I don't even know what it is. I really don't know what this is. But again, has lots of natural texture, very organic looking, and then like actual cinnamon sticks. So it is a scented bowl filler, so many different varieties of things. Again, lots of natural texture, different colors, different browns, auburn colors, just so many beautiful natural elements that you could use in so many different areas of your home. You will see that I've used some of the leaves in other areas of my home later in this video, but what I'm using them for specifically is in this bowl as bowl filler. So basically I'm just gonna fill up this bowl with a bunch of these items, play around with the placement of things until it's in a beautiful aesthetic look. Something that's also wonderful about this bowl filler is it smells so good. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just very warm and cozy, maybe a little bit of the cinnamon in there, the pumpkin spice. It makes the room smell so good. And as of present time, I've actually had this sitting out in our living room for like a week and it still smells amazing. So if you are at HomeGoods and you see this bag, I want to say it was around $16-ish. First of all, you get a lot of it, and second of all, it's just so beautiful. You can use it in so many different ways. And I just love how these two elements work together to finish off our little end table area, and it just makes that whole space smell amazing. Now, while we are talking about antique finds, I wanted to share one more antique find with you. This is something so simple that's been on my list for years and years, and something about antiquing is that you really have to pick and choose which items you get because sometimes they can be very pricey, and I like to shop on a budget. I have a budget every single season for myself and I really like to stay under that, and this fit perfectly. I also found this, I believe, somewhere in northern Michigan, and it is this brass candlestick. I have some brass candlesticks, but I don't have anything like this. I love how it sort of looks like turned wood. I love all the different ridges and the bulges, and also just like the natural patina on it. I found this for $12, so I thought it was a very good price for something so beautiful. Something I love about candle holders and taper candles, everything together, is that it just adds so much height to your space, and that is key when it comes to decorating spaces and putting them together in a way that's very pleasing to the eye. When the eye bounces from different heights in between all of the different pieces that are together, that is when you create really good balance. So I'm actually going to be using this on our media center. On the right side, I have what I call my autumnal pumpkin patch. I have a bunch of faux pumpkins. I did some DIYs on these last year. I can have that video linked down below as well if you're interested. I have a few books and even some of those bowl filler pieces all mixed together. And I just love the big statement that it makes. Some of the pumpkins are also elevated, again, just to create a focal point and also create some contrast on that cabinet. So to the other side, I wanted to keep the decor a little bit more simple, but because that pumpkin patch is a little bit low in profile, I wanted to add a bit of height to the other side. So first I'm going to use a white vase to put some dried hydrangeas in. We're gonna pull that mustard yellow color to the other side of the room. And I just love these hydrangeas because they add a lot of texture and warmth. And then to finish off this space and add a little bit more color, we're going to use our candle holder and another one of our candles from HomeGoods. This auburn color is again being brought to the other side of the room. It goes with the rest of the pumpkins and the elements sitting on the cabinet, and I just love the way that this looks. Overall, this media cabinet looks very gathered and natural, and I just love all the very antique aged elements, and this definitely tops it off. If you find any sort of candle holders like this at estate sales, thrift stores, or antique shops, and it is a good price, you definitely need to pick these up. They're so well made, they're beautiful, and I just love the aged look of them. And lastly, but most certainly not least, I did have to pick up a candle. I feel like it's very hard for me, especially during fall and winter. Those are the times of year where I just feel like I need a new candle, and I don't always need a new candle, but this one was the perfect price. It also is going to be replacing one of our fall candles that is almost used up. This is going to be perfect. It also smells very, very similar to it, so it's a very good replacement. So when I was at HomeGoods, I saw this adorable little candle. So this is called Pumpkin Spice, and it is by DW Home. It was $7.99, and what I really fell in love with besides the scent itself was the packaging. I love the colored sort of light amber glass as well as the chocolate brown text. I just think it's beautiful. It's very timeless and classic looking, and also the lid is a sort of dark walnut color. So I just love how it's a little hint of fall, but it's not orange, it's not bright yellow. I just love how it just brings those warm tones in. Also, the smell, it's so good. It literally smells like pumpkin spice, as the name implies. It smells like a beautiful fall day where you're making like cinnamon rolls in the kitchen. Just has that cinnamon, nutmeg, just beautiful, warm, slightly sweet scent to it. This candle is very similar to the pumpkin that we were talking about. This is perfect for finishing off vignettes. That's exactly what I'm going to do with this. We have another end table next to our sofa in the living room. I just have a coffee table book with a big jug that I got from an antique store with some of my favorite florals from Hobby Lobby. And then I'm just going to style this candle next to it with a candle snuffer as well as a coaster, so that way this table can also still be functional and seasonal, but I can still light this candle if I want the house to smell like autumn. I love the sound of candles. I love how the flame reflects off the glass, and it just adds this cozy ambient feeling that you can't get with anything else. So if you need a fall candle, definitely go to HomeGoods. They had a lot to choose from, different shapes, sizes, and again, this was a really good price for only $8. And this candle is definitely gonna last at least a couple years in our house. Okay, you guys, that's going to wrap up today's fall decor haul as well as style with me. I hope you guys got a bunch of inspiration for how to take some of these older pieces as well as newer pieces, mix them together to create that beautiful, inviting, cozy feel for the autumn season. There is more fall decorating on the horizon. I'm also hoping to go to maybe like a fall antique market of some sort. I would love to do that sometime this year and bring you guys along with me. If you guys want even more decorating inspiration, I did bring you guys through decorating our whole living room, sort of vlog style last year. I can have that link down below for you. And again, if you're interested in getting that new print that is on my Etsy shop, Autumn Meadow, make sure that you check that out as well. But thank you guys so much for spending some time with me on my channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your autumn season, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.